Econometric models are playing an increasingly dominant role in the media decision-making process. The challenge for radio is that very few econometric models contain high-quality data relating to radio effectiveness, making it difficult to predict fairly what the medium will add to the media mix. This is significantly hindering radio's chances of making the plan, irrespective of its strategic relevance to the campaign. The RAB's discussions with customers revealed that in an environment where data is king, the onus remains on media owners to fill any information vacuum. To further radio's cause within this context, the RAB's big idea was to use aggregated data from radioGAUGE to provide comms planners with free access to high-quality big data for radio, searchable by product sector, campaign objective and media combination, and make this information available whenever and wherever it is required.
radioGAUGE is the RAB's radio campaign effectiveness measurement tool, which has measured almost 600 campaigns since its launch in January 2008. The consistent method we've used to measure each of these campaigns has allowed us to develop breadth and depth of data that we can aggregate to provide valuable new insight into radio effectiveness by sector and media mix.
The challenge with big data, however, is that it can be incredibly complex to navigate. So we set out to create a user interface that is simple and intuitive to use without any prior knowledge, and that provides easy-to-steal charts and audio to export into presentations to justify and build confidence in the use of radio. radioGAUGE Predict is an online tool that allows planners easy access to 291 radio effectiveness outcomes, searchable by 3 campaign objectives across 13 product sectors and 9 media combinations to ensure that they are as relevant as possible to the task in hand. Here's how it works. When exploring radio's uplift effect by product category, users choose the relevant sector they want to review results for, in this case, retail. Next, they choose a relevant campaign objective, in this instance, campaigns focusing on price promotions. Finally, a relevant measure is chosen, for example, brand consideration. The resultant chart demonstrates that across the 41 campaigns that match these criteria, brand consideration is 32% higher amongst those exposed to radio advertising compared to those that weren't. For convenience, this data is easy to export into presentations, either as PowerPoint or PDF. Returning to the home page, the user can then explore radio's effect within a media mix relevant to their campaign. So, sticking with the retail price promotion theme, radioGAUGE Predict highlights how radio, when used alongside press, drives ad awareness. Here, the chart demonstrates that across the 27 campaigns that match the criteria, ad awareness is 86% higher amongst those exposed additionally to radio in comparison to press alone. Returning to the home page again, the user is next able to explore the best performing ads in the retail sector, specifically the most involving ads. radioGAUGE Predict showcases the top 3 scoring ads for this measure and provides the audio which can be played or downloaded to include in a presentation. Acknowledging that planners inhabit a time-pressured world where the right information at the right time can make all the difference to a medium making it onto the plan, the RAB wanted to make this powerful learning available to anyone, wherever and whenever required. radioGAUGE Predict was therefore created in HTML5, enabling the data to be seamlessly accessed through any device, PC, tablet or mobile. Following launch in May, customers have responded very favourably to the initiative.
radioGAUGE Predict is a wonderful tool. It builds on the very successful radioGAUGE. And what we love about Predict is it gives us and the planners the opportunity to look at different scenarios and to really understand radio's role in a multimedia mix.
I think there's a really important point to be made about radioGAUGE, which is the kind of sense of openness and kind of transparency that it provides is in my view a kind of real confidence booster to clients. So I guess I'd sum it up by saying it's a really smart project, perfectly executed, and kind of credit for the RAB for turning what could be seen as a potential problem into what I think is a real strength of the medium.
In the 3 months since launch, over 3,800 individual charts detailing radio's effect have been served on radioGAUGE Predict to 650 different users. This means a 50-fold increase in customer exposure to this highly persuasive data when compared to the average of 6 information requests per week prior to launch. And with brand count on radio up in the latest quarter by 13% year on year, it appears that increased exposure to this data is helping to build confidence in radio's effect and encourage new advertisers to use the medium.
radioGAUGE Predict proves that you don't need vast resources to make the most of your big data. We're now able to share relevant and robust radio effectiveness data with many more customers than a team of 14 could manage alone. We're already seeing a positive effect on business with brand count up in the last quarter and radio predicted to grow between 4 to 5% this year against a flat market. radioGAUGE Predict shows that you don't need vast resources to sweat your big data assets. I can't say.